Hello and welcome back to Butcher That Model and part 2 of our Belisarius Cawl build. Now, it's been a few weeks for a very good reason. I had a bit of a heads up from some friends at the Woolhammers to say there's new paint lines coming out. Not just for contrast, but new paints added to the range. And one of the ones that I was quite excited about, and one of the reasons why I've held off on this, is one called Grey Night Steel. It's got a really nice blue tinge to it, and I think on some of the metal work on Cawl, this stuff is going to look absolutely fantastic, along with obviously bolt gun and a nice old dry brush of Necron compound. So I've held off for a few weeks and now I've finally got hold of some. We'll give it a go. What we're also going to do as well is on his cape, we're going to do something slightly different as well. We're going to use the contrast paint on his cape, and then I'll obviously, once that's dried, we'll go on to add in highlights and layers and that on top of that, and let's see what effect using contrast Flesh Terror Red gives us as a base to work off. So that's the reason why it's been a few weeks since the last post on Belisarius Cawl. So what we'll do today is we'll get the sub assemblies done and get him undercoated, and then we'll see how long we've got, see what time it is, and then the next one we'll definitely get on to having fun and painting his cape, see what we can achieve. So let's crack on. Let's get the box open, get him out. Now it does look, like I said earlier, it does look a very complicated model to do, but it's not. It's not if you do it like I'm going to do it in the sub assemblies. Now the thing to remember when you're doing sub assemblies is once it's unpainted, this is your best friend in the world. You won't get a stronger bond on unpainted plastic than Tamiya extra thin. But then once we've got the sub assemblies done and painted, we'll be going on to using a super glue gel. It's just the way I like to do things. I'm of an age now where my eyesight's not as good as yours. If you're in your 20s or late teens, or even if you're younger, your eyesight's going to be a lot better than mine. I like to paint in sub assemblies and then build up to actually getting a complete model done. It's just the way I like to do it. My hands aren't as steady as they used to be, and my eyesight's definitely not. So this is the way I get over, not disability, but you know, the ravages of time. So what I'll do is I'll give this a pause. You don't want to see me building things. No, you don't, honestly. I'll get the sub assemblies up together and then we'll come back, because it's a time machine, why not use it? So I'll see you in a minute, in a second. Well, half a second for you. Time machine. I was probably sending my white balance sky. Right, that's the first bit, the first sub assemblies built I want to work on. Now I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant now. Let's move them out of the way, then the white balance isn't totally skying. Now I've seen so many people making miniatures, doing models, and they'll build it all and then paint it and then say, what do you think? Down at the Games Workshop or down at any modelling club, and you look at it and you think, yeah, it's nice, mate, yeah, that's right. Why have you only done 2/3 of it? Why have you not painted the inside? Why have you not painted? Why have you built it all and then got in a position where you can't physically get in to paint all the detail on the inside? Yeah. Alright, you're never going to see, when he's on his stand, you're never going to see inside it. But as a painter, as a model maker, you know it's there. And all this detail inside, why are you disrespecting the people that built it and made it? A team of people spent months and months developing each kit that you build. All these detail on the inside, why would you not paint it? You paid for it. They've done it for you. They spent all that time and effort in producing it. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. I really don't. It's like you're only doing 2/3 of a job. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, it's your miniature, it's your model. You do what you want with it. but it just sets me off. It's like, oh, my left eye starts twinging. You know, build it in sub-assemblies, paint it. Enjoy the process of building it and painting it. You know, get the maximum out of it. Now, the other thing is, I had a compliment the other day, a really nice one, of one of my area trainers, area managers, who came into work and said, "Oh, Dave, I saw on Facebook, Arc on the Black, the dragon you just painted with the bloke. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. How do you paint like that?" Now, he's not a painter, he's a fantastic drawer and a brilliant sculptor. He does these amazing sculpted pumpkins. He can sculpt a pumpkin, it's gorgeous. It was like, he showed me one, a picture he did, and it was like, it was gorgeous. I couldn't do it. And he said to me, "Dave, what's the secret?" There is no secret. There's no Tibetan mountain that you can scale and find a saffron-clad monk sat in a cave in front of a fire who's going to send you off on a quest to slay a dragon, that he can grind down its bones and throw it in his fire and he'll magically... It's practice. It's hard work, it's practice. There is a magic wand at the end of the day, and that's it. It's a wet palette. It's a wet palette. Thin your paints and use the biggest brush you can use for that particular thing you're painting, and thin your paints, and that's it. That is the secret. So that's me rant over, and me. Oh, I had a really nice compliment. But that's the secret. There isn't a mountain with a Tibetan monk sat in it. It's use a wet palette, thin your paint, and use the right size brush for the job. And it's that simple. And practice, practice, and practice. Nobody can pick up a guitar and instantly become Jimi Hendrix. Nobody can sit at a piano and instantly become Elton John. It's practice. It's years and years of practice and hard work. And that's all it is. It's that simple. That is the secret. That is the magic formula. It's practice and patience. And you'll be able to do this, honestly. And paint everything. You know, why just stick it together and get in a position where, well, I can't paint that now. I can't get in there and paint that. Do it in sub-assemblies like I do, and then use the correct glue. Don't use extra thin. Don't use a plastic cement that melts plastic. Use super glue. Job done, honestly. Right, I'm going to crack on now. What I'll do is I'm going to start painting now the inside of the cape, and I'm going to use Pallid Witch Flesh on the inside, and I'm going to paint all these metal bits and then get it together, and then we'll have a look at the end of it and see what it looks like. So I'll see you in about 2 or 3 seconds, half a second for you, about an hour for me, maybe 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. It's a time machine. Time machine. Right, that's the inside done now. All the silver, all the metal bits all painted up. I painted the inside of his coat with Pallid Witch Flesh, and I've done a bit of a light bit of Nun oil just to give it a bit of a dirty look, because at the end of the day he's a couple of 1,000 years old and I don't think he sees very many washing machines. So we've just dirtied him up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put him all together. Another thing I did as well was I didn't use gold on the trim of his armour plates, because at the end of the day gold's too soft. It's a soft metal. You wouldn't have gold on armour really, you'd have gold plating I suppose. What I've done is I used a warp block bronze, just to make mine slightly different than the run of the mill you see every day. Well, you don't see every day, but most people would paint Belisarius Cawl with the gold trim. I just did mine just to be slightly different. So I'll put him together and then we'll get on and do his cape. We'll put the contrast on it and then leave it, and then next time when we come back we'll start highlighting his cape. So I will see you when I've glued this together in another half a second for you. It's time machine. Time machine. Right, so that's him together. And it's all done, it's all painted. Right, so let's crack on with the contrast. So, give him a good shake. You might hear a rattle. I've put stainless steel balls in my paint just to get the pigment moving, get it all going. Right then, so the secret with this stuff apparently is you just slap it on in one thick coat, which goes against all my principles of 2 thin coats. Let's see what this stuff can achieve. Would help if I do it on the camera. I'm an idiot. Right then, so it's literally get it on in one big thick juicy coat, and then don't let it pull too much in areas, wick it off if you need to, sort of thing. So we'll have a go like that. And what it does is it runs off the high points and collects very much like a thick wash really in the recesses and all the. Now this obviously would work better on more textured if you've got like a cape off a celestial paladin, a palinor, what was it called, or a space wolf's cloak. This stuff would be amazing. Something highly textured like that would be great. Now I've had a good go at my local Warhammer store with the contrast paints. Personally, I don't like them. Not, you know, as a be all and end all, I don't like them. I'd rather do traditional, I'm afraid, undercoat, base coat, layer, wash, highlight. You can't beat that as a technique for painting miniatures. If on the other hand you're not too into painting and you just want to paint your Space Marine army or your Celestials, you just want to get them on the table, yeah, it works. You can get a half decent paint job out of them. The tabletop standard, it's good stuff. If you want to take your miniatures further than that, then do what I'm doing. Use it as your base layer and then work up from that, and we'll see what results we get doing it this way. I don't like this. I think it's the fact that I'm just slapping it on in one big thick chunky count. I don't like it. It's like being clueless and 9 and 10-year-old again. Your first ever model kit you get and you just throw the paint on it like one big thick coat, and then you wonder why it doesn't look like the pictures on the box. And puts you off modelling for life, or until you get a lot older. But as a tool, I suppose, it may well do its job. Right then, so that's 2 thick coats now. Already I can see that's doing what it's supposed to do. It's running off the high points and collecting in the recesses like a wash would do, and it's a lot thicker than a wash, a lot more pigmented. Actually, I quite like the look of that. That's going to be a good base to work from in part 2, or part 3 even, of Belisarius Cawl, where we'll get on to building his head and his hand and his staff, and probably get another couple of episodes out of it and it'll be done. I'm going to leave that to dry now. I may just add a little bit of Nun oil onto these metal plates just to rub it up a bit and darken them up a bit, but that's the only thing I'll do offline. So I will see you in the next episode of Belisarius Cawl, where we start to highlight and really try and bring this cloak to life. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. If you live in Australia, stay away from the trees and the duck bites can't get you, and I'll see you next time.